Welcome to Rooster Radio, a broadcast dedicated to supporting and promoting local artists in the Gaston County and surrounding areas.
Being moved, and you could actually peek in the back, and I've seen mats moving, nobody's back there, like somebody's like going through them to pick out a color, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, all right, I'm not going in back there right now. Sorry.
Ghost stories.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's perfect.
Yeah, I don't have any. I feel left out.
You don't have any ghost stories?
I don't have any ghost stories.
I got a shit ton of ghost stories.
I'm a skeptic, but man. So our house that we live in now was built in 1900, so it's 120 years old, 24 years old. But when we first moved in, I was in the house by myself, just cleaning up, sweeping up in the hallway. Everybody else was either at work, school, whatever. And clear as day, I thought I had heard a female voice go, "Well, hello." And I turned around and looked upstairs, and I was like, "Did my wife come home?" Couldn't find anything, but I'm like, did I really imagine that?
Yeah.
But
Did my brain short circuit, or did somebody really say, "Well, hello"?
Right. It always stuck with me, but I was like, I don't know.
That's interesting. Have you ever did you have anything else after that?
My wife says she's seen some things, some shadows or things that she's found suspicious, but that was the main thing for me.
Okay. Just somebody saying, "Well, welcome to my home."
Right.
The only access I've ever had to other planes of existence came with the help of chemical.
Chemical induced.
Yeah. I mean, I have seen some things.
Sure you have. I'm
DMT,
sure.
baby.
Oh my goodness.
Shit is awesome.
Oh my God.
You ever tried it?
No.
It's pretty wild. Have you?
You know, I never even had a buzz until I was in my mid-30s.
Really? Were you like a goody, like good boy?
Not on purpose. I was just more focused on, I want to do this, I want to do that. There's things I want to do. I don't have time to go party with you guys. I got to learn how to play my guitar. I got to learn this D&D game or whatever. You know, there's just too many other artsy things that interested me. That's where my focus was.
So you've always had the artist mind.
Yeah, I was like vice president of the art club in high school. I did this big mural in our cafeteria for our senior year
wow.
thing. Yeah. So for me, it's just always
Always
artsy
in the
minded.
art. That's awesome.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are talking to Ray from Graveyard Boulevard. Say hey, Ray.
Hey, what's up?
And you can check Graveyard Boulevard out this Friday for our after Halloween party. So, Halloween fucked around and landed on a Thursday this year. So we're like, okay, well, let's party on Friday. And Ray had reached out. We went back and forth about dates, and Ray had a great idea to make an after Halloween party. And we put together kind of a great themed lineup of different rock and punk bands. We've got the Digital Dolls, but we've got Hellfire 76. We've got the Body Bags. We've got Midnite Massacre and Graveyard Boulevard. Yep. Awesome, right?
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you letting us do this. I mean, a lot of those guys are just our buddies from a while. Over the years, Body Bags we've known since. Well, I think they got their name from our first album. Our first album was called Toe Tags and Body Bags, and soon after that came out, there was a band called Body Bags in Charlotte.
It's a great band name, especially for a punk band that does what they do.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun.
Yeah, they are.
They're good guys.
You got to check them on their set times, but they like to run long. But they're a good band. Yeah, they're good quality punk band. I like them a lot. I was very excited to finally get them here for the first time a few months back. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They were at the Wet Hot Punk Rock.
Yep.
And this will be your fourth time, maybe.
Yeah, I think that sounds about right.
Yeah,
we enjoy coming here.
We love having you here. For those who don't know, Graveyard Boulevard is a lot of fun. Horror, pop, punk, I guess.
Yeah, that's exactly
Sure.
what it is.
Yeah. A lot of fun. A lot of material out there. A lot of material. We were talking before the show.
Yes.
You guys have so much material that you dominate our hard rock playlist.
Thank you.
Not a night goes by you can come in here and not hear a Graveyard Boulevard song.
That is true.
When did you start? How long have you been around?
Yeah, the band started in 2003, so it's plenty of time to accumulate some songs, and we just kind of kept going, you know. I think there's a total of 80 songs in the library now. I counted them up the other day.
Yeah.
As far as all the songs that were released on an album somewhere or released digitally online.
We were talking while you were outside. The very first time I saw them, Timmy had seen them in Johnson City, Tennessee, and he said that they were performing at Amos's, and they opened for the Misfits.
Oh, wow. That must have been a knots on the belt night, huh?
Yeah, that was fun. We were back then. We did a few shows with the Misfits. I don't know how I don't know. I guess we
Did you get a
just
fight with
knocked
Doyle?
on the right doors, met the right people at the right times. Sometimes that's all it takes. But yeah, we did. I think a total of 3 shows with the Misfits, which was really cool. It was the Jerry only, Dez from Black Flag, and Robo lineup. Those guys, they were just super cool to us. So
Yeah, I mean they were nice to the general public too, but that was the very first time that I ever saw Graveyard Boulevard. That was a long ass time ago.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember what year.
I don't know. It was a while.
Yeah.
It was a while.
So Ariel and Ray have known each other for a very long time.
Yeah.
I even told him before the show I might take a back seat here.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm sure there's lots of stories, but 2003, this wasn't your first band, was it?
No, it wasn't. I started playing music. Well, the first real band was called Maniac Spider Trash. It started in 1993. It was me, a guy named Wednesday 13 that some of you may have heard of. He's gone on to do some things.
Some other things?
I think he's in the UK touring right now. And the Sicko Zero, who was our drummer for a long time. But anyway, Maniac Spider Trash was around for a couple of years. That band morphed into the Frankenstein Drag Queens from Planet 13.
Yeah.
And in the 90s, you know, Maniac Spider Trash, Frankenstein Drag Queens, we really built up a pretty good following in Charlotte. And, you know, I don't know if you remember Jeremiah's, but we were back in Jeremiah's pretty regularly.
I had a friend in high school. My best friend in high school was obsessed with Frankenstein Drag Queens.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was fun. It was some good times. Yeah, good memories.
But I never went to one of their shows. So
Oh, you didn't?
no, and she was just like, "No, you got to check this out." That's how I was introduced.
So that goes, that dies out, and how you come up with Graveyard Boulevard. Was it always going to be a horror pop punk band? Like, was that the idea?
Yeah, you know, my influences were Headbangers Ball and, you know, the metal years of the 80s. And I gravitated toward the more dangerous bands like Wasp and Twisted Sister. I just liked the...
Shock factor?
Yeah, I was drawn to that. And Alice Cooper, of course. So that has always played into what I've been interested in. Graveyard Boulevard started out as a horror punk band. We used to do all the makeup and stuff. As time went on, we kind of got away from that because, I don't know, you grow up a little bit, you mature a little bit. You know, for us, we also, you know, Wednesday 13 was doing so well doing that on his own. We was like, well, we need to kind of diverge a little bit, kind of do, you know, we don't want to be compared to him as much as possible, even though we got those similar influences. So, yeah, I mean, our stuff is still very much influenced by horror movies and thrillers and suspense books and comic books, especially since I own a comic shop in Salisbury.
I was going to get to that.
I was like, "That's what it
You know,
comes
so, you know, I love all the fiction involved with the dark things.
Yeah.
The dark arts.
The dark arts.
It's not Harry Potter.
Now, with this being a Halloween party, are we gonna bring the makeup back, or are we gonna dress up? Like we do encourage costumes.
I mean,
for the show.
should we?
So-
Yes, you should. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a Halloween party.
I think
so
you
let's
should.
Yeah, so if you're coming to the show, by all means, please dress up. Let's have some fun with it.
Yes.
I mean,
Let's
Halloween's-
encourage costumes.
Yes.
I mean, this is my favorite time of the year, fall time. I mean, it's the best beer. Love Oktoberfest and fall beers.
I get to scare people. I'm excited.
Halloween's always fun. It's an excuse to dress up and play pretend as the grown-ups and stuff. And you can go all out. You can be subtle. I know for the Headbangers Ball, my outfit was really subtle. It was just like a work shirt that said Pipe Lane Expert. I was like, I gotta work. I gotta be able to move. I can't.
I don't know subtle when it comes to costumes. Sorry. I just
Yeah, I've
can't
seen
do
some of your
subtle.
costumes. Some good stuff.
Yes, he's seen my costumes over the years. I don't play.
But this should be a fun time. So we definitely encourage people to dress up, and it'd be cool to see you bring back the makeup and stuff. I know Midnite Massacre will be. They'll be.
They have makeup.
They got makeup and costumes, and I don't know if any of the other bands plan on it or not, but it should be a fun time.
I can talk to digital dolls.
Make this happen. Maybe for this show, the costume contest isn't for the people in the audience, but for the bands themselves. we can figure out a prize for the band with the best
Do
costumes.
we get extra pumpkin ale?
I mean, do we have a pumpkin?
I don't. The
I was
pumpkin doesn't sell as well as as people think it does. It's too sweet. Oktoberfest is where it's at.
Gotcha.
Yeah, pumpkin beer. There's only one pumpkin beer out there that's really worth a damn, and it's the Cottonwood that's made up in Foothills.
I haven't tried that.
They're the only brewery that seems to have mastered how to make a pumpkin ale that's not like super sweet.
Now, New Sarum Brewery in Salisbury, they've got a pumpkin.
They got
that
a good
I
pumpkin
like.
up there. Yeah, I haven't had it, but I would try it. But I got sick of like how sweet all the pumpkin brews were that you buy in the stores.
Gotcha.
And I've always liked Oktoberfest. I think Oktoberfest should be a year-round beer because it's just so good.
Were they trying to make it taste like pumpkin pie or something?
It's just they put too much pumpkin and sugar in. It's in the effort to make it taste like pumpkin, it ends up being too sweet.
Because I mean, you cut up. I see when I think pumpkin, I think about when you open it up and it smells like a fart. But I'm like, I don't want a beer that
The
smells
fuck
like
are
a
you
fart.
eating?
A pumpkin. You cut open a fresh pumpkin.
Sure,
It
was
does not.
right.
It stinks. I'm sorry.
I do like pumpkin seeds. I know when
Seeds
we
are
carve
good.
pumpkins,
Like
I like
roasted?
taking the seeds
Yes.
and roasting them. And we got a nice little pumpkin seed seasoning that we make ourselves, and we roast them with some olive oil. It's always really good.
Okay.
Great snack when you go to the
That
corn
could be a
maze.
good little bar snack thing instead of
Yeah,
popcorn.
I'm not
or
working
something.
that much.
that's a lot of
That's a lot of work.
Clean the crap off of them. Yeah.
But yeah, so Ray, you're a busy guy. You've got Graveyard Boulevard. You want to talk for a minute about the comic shop?
Sure. That's the comic shop in Salisbury, North Carolina is called the Comic Monstore. Also, my love for monsters. But yeah, that also opened up in 2003, same time the band started. So that was sort of an important year in my life, and both are still going.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm doing something right.
Yeah.
Or either I'm really stubborn or something.
Probably both.
Well, as
A
long
little-
as you're
little
still
bit.
having fun with it.
Yes, I do enjoy getting up and going to work. And that's important. If you
It is.
don't enjoy, if you've got a job that's your passion, and I see with the Rooster, you've got a passion too, and I want to say thank you for doing what you do.
Wow, thanks,
Because business owner to business owner, I get it. Sometimes the struggles are there, but yeah.
Yeah, it's the difference. There's a million differences between being a business owner and just working for a company. But one of the biggest differences is in terms of like mental health, like the highs and the lows. There's such a vast distance between those two things, and it just seems like working like a normal job, you can kind of have a more steady. You kind of know what to expect. You kind of know what's expected of you. There's mandates, there's deadlines, and it's like, this is the work, you do it. Whereas with what we do, one bad week can ruin a whole month. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's, and then you got to deal with all of the, mental and emotional baggage that comes along with it. And, it's, fortunately for me, I've been working for myself for a decade before I opened this place. So I was kind of used to, it all hinging on me, dealing with all that stuff. It's just, I never had anything on this scale. The brick and mortar of it all, the mortgage, the overhead, the employing people. Employing people, that's a whole nother level of stress people don't understand. But if you're a manager and you hire people, you still have no obligation to this person and you have no responsibility for this person. But as an owner, and when you employ somebody, their well-being is on some level, even if it's a part-time, their well-being is dependent upon your ability to keep your business running.
Right.
And that fucks with you sometimes when you can't, like, when you got to be like, I can't use you this time, or I need you to take this time off, or I've only got this much for you, for me, I'm a little more empathetic than most. A lot of entrepreneurs out there, you kind of got to be, there's got to have a certain level of coldness to really be successful. And I don't really have it in me to be like, well, fuck you, like, I come first. Like it's hard to be that way. You know what I mean?
Just imagine him trying to say that to me.
Right. And,
I would never say that to you.
and that's the thing that I think makes you a wonderful human. You can feel the empathy that you have for employees and bands, and that's something special. And thank you for that. But yeah, as a business owner, your payroll is often like one of your biggest, if not the biggest, expenses aside from rent. And so, we put in, I'm sure you put in a lot of hours too. I put in a lot of hours myself. I don't just let other people run the place. You got to be there and you got to make sure, you're watching the budget and just keeping that balancing act, not tipping too far in one direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, with the comic, you've got more than comic books, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you a platform here to
You've got collectibles too,
promote
right?
what all you got going on. So talk a little bit more about what's all in the store and what people could find.
Right. So it's a lot of comic books, vintage and new, but we also do a lot with gaming. So like Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons. There's a lot of that happening. I actually have two storefronts. One storefront is the retail side, and the other side is just a gaming area we call the Game Realm. And we've decorated it up so it has a feel of you're walking into a medieval tavern and a dungeon, and you can sit down and play D&D with like dungeon walls around you. So it's a very atmospheric getaway, and people can just come and hang out and meet there. All we ask, there's no membership fee for that or anything. It's just buy stuff from us next door and enjoy your time.
Yeah.
And it's worked out. Friday nights you'll find Magic the Gathering tournaments happening. We'll usually have 30 to 40 people playing Magic the Gathering on Friday nights. Saturdays, you'll find D&D groups going on. I play a lot of Pathfinder, which is sort of a version of Dungeons & Dragons also, and I run a couple of games of Pathfinder each week. Hero Clicks, a wide variety of gaming. And other collectibles, toys, there's plenty of toys. Got a huge selection of Star Wars and horror memorabilia and He-Man, Thundercats. There's a lot of vintage toys there too.
You get a lot of tourists come through. Like you get a lot of people from out of town coming to your shop because it sounds like you got a pretty wide selection. I'd imagine people go out of their way to come visit your shop, right?
We do. There are plenty of regulars, but I think we have the benefit of being right off of I-85. We're exit 75 off I-85 and right there at the exit pretty much. So especially when people are traveling through town to go to like conventions or stuff, a lot of people just pass right by us and we'll pull up on, near comic shop near me and, we're right there and easy to find. So, yeah.
I've known several people from here that have gone up to your shop.
Oh. What's your prized possession in terms of comic? What's the one comic book in your store that you're not selling?
I've got a few in my personal collection at home, and it gets tough because you run out of space, and it's like, well, what matters most to me as a collector? Because I started as a collector, but for me, it's the I love the vintage Star Wars stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, the Star Wars toys and comics that came out between 1977 and 1983. That's it's God, it just takes me back to my childhood, and I just love that stuff. And I've got I don't have every single piece that came out from that time because some of that stuff's really pricey now. But I've got a good chunk of it. As far as comic books, I was able to get a hold of Amazing Spider-Man #1 recently. Well, I say within the last 5 years. It's a rag. It's pretty beat up.
Yeah,
but it's still
it's
Amazing
number
Spider-Man.
one. Yeah. It's not mint, but
Right.
Where'd you find it?
A random customer came in one day, wanting to sell it, and I was like, "Oh, this is thousands of dollars. How much you want for it?"
Yeah.
And he gave me a price. I'm like, I knew he was asking about 70% on what I knew it was worth. But I was like, I'm going to grab it because it's a better deal than I'm probably ever going to find on this
Right.
book ever. And the Silver Age Marvel Comics, the key books, they just don't depreciate.
no.
Nice. So is it on display or is that at home?
It's out.
At home.
It's out.
You take a picture and make a copy of it and put it in a frame in the comic shop. I have this. You're not
Make it,
getting
what is it, NFT of it? Sell it that way.
Right?
Boy, wasn't that a crock of shit, man. Everyone that bought an NFT, you fucking deserve what you got.
I never understood it. It's a digital
It's
image.
You know what it is?
I can Google
the
pictures.
internet tried to
Yeah.
do what the banking system's been doing for centuries, right? The
Right.
internet tried to sell something that had no value. Like that's what banks have been doing forever. Like you borrow money from a bank that doesn't exist until they create it, right? They give you this loan. Where's that money coming from? It's not coming out of the bank's pocket. They
No.
just made up money and gave it to you. Same thing with NFT. We're just going to make this thing that doesn't really exist, and here's a picture of it. People are paying millions of dollars. I mean, I don't know. I have no point of reference to have that kind of money to where I'm willing to say here's $3 million for digital art. Like, I'm sorry. If I had that money, there's so many other things that I would spend it on.
Right?
Right. Yeah. I'm still a physical copy guy. I mean,
Yeah.
I've
Yeah,
still
it's
got
the
my-
same thing with like vinyl albums. You want to smell it and feel it, and like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Yeah, digital. I mean, but I will say this. You know who Beeple is?
Say that again?
Beeple. You know that Beeple is an artist, and
No.
he uses like AI technology to do digital art. He might be the only guy that makes digital art that's worth like buying if you can get a print of it, because his stuff is incredible. And he's an
I'll
incredible.
have
He
to look
doesn't
this up.
paint it. He uses technology to put these masterpieces. Look him up. Look,
Okay.
He's like Beeple crap on Instagram.
Okay.
But a lot of his art is like current events based.
Okay.
Like when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, he did a giant Taylor Swift in a Chiefs uniform.
Okay.
Like, hilarious, right? Like so funny, and it's really well done. His style is really cool looking. It's almost got like a spooky kind of element to it. But it's
You got my attention with that, definitely.
yeah. Check out Beeple at some point.
Okay.
He's an incredible artist, but he's like the only one. He's the
Okay.
only one I would even consider like buying a print of his work. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But and his whole thing is, and that how he got famous was he makes one every single day, and he has been for like 10 years.
Oh,
Yeah, he makes a new piece of art every single day.
I wish I could do that.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't. The tank just doesn't, or the well doesn't run dry with that guy. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, I would constantly need that creative influence every single day, and sometimes it just doesn't come.
Now, are you an artist yourself outside of music? Like, do you paint,
Yeah.
draw, anything like that?
Yeah. I had a friend the other day just telling me I need to sit down and do some pencil artwork again, because that's really But when I was a teenager, I used to just create art and
Yeah.
Doodle and all that stuff.
Yeah, and paint and stuff. I was a vice president in the art club in high school. I got to design and paint the mural in our cafeteria for our senior year. So yeah, I've always been an artist in that regard. It took me a little longer to become a musical artist, but I've always been some sort of artist, I think.
So I don't think it's you. I don't know who does it, but for over the years, for your albums and your T-shirts and everything, y'all have had some fantastic art. Who's doing that?
Thank you. I do a lot of graphic design work these days. So my artwork that I learned in high school, I sort of had the eye, I feel like, to make things look good in an artistic way. But that translated more to a practical use and graphic design. So a lot of times, a lot of what you'll see on our albums is graphic design work that I've done, but I do also hire real artists. I try to avoid the AI art when I can, because I want to help support other real artists.
Right.
Like one of our new songs, I hired my friend Ben Mirabelli to do the artwork for a song we just released called Necrotic Secrets. Johnny Bush is another artist in the UK who I met online about a decade ago, and we kind of kept in touch. And he's done 2 album covers for us now, and has gone on to do artwork for Ghost and Wednesday 13 also. But Johnny Bush is great. And Elf is another friend of mine who has done some artwork for me. So Elf used to be a tattoo artist in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I don't know if you remember, what was it, Rockies? Do you remember Club Rockies? But he did all these amazing pieces of artwork on the walls of that club of like Jimi Hendrix and other famous rockers. He even designed a banner for Ozzy Osbourne at one time. So Elf is great. So he's another guy I tap once in a while when I want a real artist. But yeah, it's so yes.
I mean, honestly, that's one of those things I've enjoyed, like, over the years, like the T-shirts, the album art it's been consistently just Graveyard Boulevard. It's just like,
you definitely have a signature style with your artwork and the albums and stuff.
And it's been like that over the years. It's been consistent.
And
I like it.
And you have a very unique sound. I mean, you've definitely if you go through the catalog, you can see the evolution.
Yeah.
But you definitely have kind of like a recognizable, I can always tell when it's you on the PA. I'm like, that's a Graveyard Boulevard song. And I'll go look and that's a Graveyard Boulevard song. When you're writing, how much of it's intentional, or is this just kind of what's coming out of you is like kind of this genre, this horror, because it doesn't, from everything I've listened to, you're not making any points with your you're not taking any kind of political agenda or anything like that. Maybe occasionally you'll have some social commentary in there, but it all seems like it's all fun and games with your music. I mean, is that intentional?
I appreciate it. I definitely, of course, we all have our own opinions about the state of the world and stuff, but I like my music and my fun time to be about escapism. So I try not to be too heavy-handed on that. Yeah. There are some things that have double meanings that I know. Like, we released an album in 2022, and so a lot of the songs that came out on that album were written in 2020 and 2021, and there's some heavy shit going on.
Yeah. Fun time of our life.
So, there's one song I wrote called One Last Dance of the Dead. Sure, it might be about zombies, but was it about the political climate? There was another song called The Year the World Stood Still. How things just kind of came to a halt.
Yeah.
And so, some of that works its way in it. I try not to throw my opinions in it too much. It's more of, here's what happened.
Yeah.
What did you do during COVID? Like just wrote?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of that. With business-wise, it was weird for the comic book and collectible side of things. It actually was a healthy time.
Yeah, all that government money, they was buying up their memorabilia.
There was some of that, but also when things went to shit, people wanted to escape, and
they wanted
you
their
escape
comic books
with fun stuff. And so 2021 was one of our best years as far as business.
Yeah.
yeah, we did a lot of we shifted a lot to online sales during all that. We were very careful about not getting too heavy-handed, but we cared about our customers, and we didn't want them getting sick. We had loved ones who we lost, like very close loved ones who we lost. And so we shifted as much as we could to doing like curbside service and online stuff, and wrote a lot of songs.
Yeah. I mean, you got through it.
Yeah.
And you got some material out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was that album that I'm talking about is called Will Wither, and it's our last full-length album that we've done.
Yeah.
After that, we kind of shifted gears and started thinking, well, why don't we just shift gears and start releasing a new single about every 3 or 4 months?
Yeah.
We might record a batch of songs at the same time, but then kind of dole them out, so it kind of gives the perception that we're working consistently and putting something new out. Because, we noticed we put the album out in 2022, it had 16 songs on it. And it sort of came out, made some waves for a couple of months. And then 16 songs kind of quickly got forgotten about because there's so much media out there.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked a little bit about that on the show before.
Especially here recently.
Yeah, here recently. We've been hearing that from a lot of bands. It's like the new way to do it is to do it by singles. And, that's the way it is now. I still love an album, especially an album that's telling a story. And you can still do that. You just release them as singles, and then, bam, here's an album that's all, here's the whole story.
But at the same time, that kind of works for them because every single one of their songs is like its own. It's like a little horror movie jam-packed in like 3 to 4 minutes, and I love it. It's like its own little thing, so it kind of works. Instead of doing a whole story for a whole album, it's just each little song. I was thinking about that when you were talking about the things. I was like, each one of their songs is like a B horror movie. Like this good. Like I love the B horror movies because they're so stupid.
Oh, I am not
that the songs
insulted.
are stupid.
I am not insulted by that at all.
be.
It's okay.
Like I watched one about dolls one time. I'm like, this is creepy and goofy all at the same time.
I don't know. That movie
love it.
Teeth is a B horror movie, and I think that movie's awesome.
Teeth?
I've not even heard of that one.
I hadn't either.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Now I want to find out.
Have you seen The Lost Skeleton of Cadavra? Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Have I?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving?
They're so good though.
Yeah, Teeth is a wild one. I don't think
really
it's
suck with
appropriate
names,
to.
so.
Yeah, I think that's one people's going to have to look up.
Okay.
Check it out.
I'm
It's
gonna have to
it's a
check
pretty
that one
wild
out.
concept, but it's a B movie that I watched and was like, oh. Okay. Same thing with the Human Centipede.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I was at a convention, it might have been Dragon Con, and I just stumbled into a room that was showing like a film festival.
Yeah.
And the Human Centipede was on the screen. I'm like, what did I walk into?
That movie fucked me up for a minute. I was like, man, that is because my immediate reaction after watching that movie was like, whoever wrote this is a sick motherfucker, man. Like that is some dark shit. And then they went on and made 2 more. And that third one, of course I watched them. Of course I watched them. But that third one is so fucking raw and nasty. My dad couldn't make it through. At the time, my dad was in his mid-50s.
I love the fact that you watch
horror
it with
movies with his
dad.
dad.
And my dad got up off the couch, left the room, was like, I can't watch this, Michael. I don't know. I have a curious mind, man. I want to see where this is going to go. But it's the season. It's the season.
The most I ever took my dad to go see was Guar, and he was like, "That was interesting."
Yeah.
I don't know if I can sit and watch this.
Never in a million years
my
thought I'd
gosh.
have had a Human Centipede section of the show. God damn it, who have I become?
So is that going to be your costume next weekend?
That's actually not a bad idea.
It could be. Wow.
Well, I'd need 2 other people to participate. Ron?
No, I'm good. Nope.
Let's
I got my own costume. Thank you.
all right, let's shift gears, man. Let's get off this shit.
Now you want to shift gears.
I can't come up with a more gross concept. Like that's it's.
Yeah, how do you beat that?
I mean, you can't like. I mean, I don't know. Hats off to the guy. Like, he made an impact.
Clearly.
He left his mark on the world.
Skid mark.
Nice.
That was good.
Oh yeah, the Cinepad.
Oh.
Yeah. Can't do a show without bringing up South Park.
No, there's not. Actually, we didn't with the Marvel, the last one.
Yeah, we didn't.
We didn't. We always, somebody's mentioned South Park or quote South Park or.
Yeah. Do you, all right, shifting gears. Enough. In terms of playing shows, you guys have been a band for 20 years. You've had a chance to play a lot of different places. Talk to me because we're new and you've been around a while. What's changed in this scene in terms of like venues and how shows are treated and how people that attend shows? Because you're one of the first people I've had on that can really speak to this. What's so different? Why is it such a struggle now to get people to come out for shows?
Man, I wish I had a good answer for you. Because me and my buddy that I played the show with last night, we did a show in Winston-Salem with some friends, and we were talking about this exact thing. How, like a decade ago, we were able to hop in a van, do some shows between here and Chicago or here in Philadelphia, and book a number of shows and make enough money to get there, get back, sell enough merch to have some money in our pocket when we got back. We did a lot of like staying with friends along the way, and had some great memories from all that. But it was possible to do that even a decade ago. For us anyway, but like now, it is a struggle. You're not alone when you say sometimes it's stuff just to get people to come out to see live shows. I mean, we run into that, and sometimes we can't figure out a rhyme or reason to it. We'll have a show, and on the Facebook event page, it'll say 80 people coming. And then we'll get there, and it's like 15 people. And it's like, well, what happened? Oh, okay, well, the fair's in town, or this is going on, or The Cure's playing, or whatever. And then there's some shows that we've had that we expect it just to not be much, and then we'll see 60 people show up, and everybody cares and is loving what we're doing. And it's a crapshoot sometimes. You just kind of keep on keeping on. Do it because you love it. If you don't love it, go find something else that you love. And I guess that would be my advice to new bands. And there's plenty of great new bands out there.
Oh, yeah.
And I wish them all well, but you got to be consistent. You got to be cool. You got to be kind to people. Don't come in with rock star attitude and treat people like like a glorified janitor or something. Yeah, I mean that's a lot of it. So, do it for the love of art, and make the most of what you're doing. Keep at it. It's going to take time and energy for a new band to be seen and be heard amongst all the media that's out there. But if you love it, keep at it.
Yeah. And I would encourage any of you watching to be here. Be here on the first for this show. Like, the more people in the room, the higher the energy is.
Yes.
And what you find out is that if you actually go to the show and you can get a decent crowd out there and you get that energy in the room,
so much fun.
It makes the show more fun for everybody, but you start feeding off of that energy, and you end up having this awesome experience.
Yeah.
And you're on the drive home, or you're going to the Waffle House after
you're still
the show,
talking about
and you're
it.
talking about it, and you're high on it, and then you get a great night's sleep that night, and you wake up the next day thinking,
And you're still talking about
man,
it.
that was a good time, man. That was a lot of fun.
There have been shows like that it just the energy was great. Everybody had a good time, and I still talk about those shows to this day.
And all it takes is a lot of people. I think part of it. I think it's multifaceted why shows are so poorly attended now. I think I think now more than ever, there's way more competition for people's attention. I think
Yes.
that's probably the number
I
one
think that
thing.
Too much distraction.
Right. Number two is, hard financial times. The longer America exists in the form that it is now, the wider the gap between the people who have money and don't have money get. And I think that's part of it too. And I don't want to get into the socio-political aspects of all that, but that's a contributing factor. But I think the one factor that we can fix, that we can change, is get your head out of your ass. Like, go fucking see the local band.
Yes.
Like, stop with the I don't know them shit. Go. If you don't like it, fucking leave.
Guess what? I didn't know them when I went to go see
Yeah.
them.
If you don't, if you get here and you're here for 20 minutes and you're not feeling the vibe, then leave. But I guarantee you
You're
that
gonna have
happens
fun.
1 out of 1,000.
Yeah.
999 times you're going to get here and you're going to be like, oh shit, this is kind of cool. And you're going to want to come back. And I think that's the where we have to focus our attention, is like convincing people that it's worth the $10, $15, $20 just to be part of something.
You're going to drop
Yeah.
that much on a cold iced latte anyway. So
I mean, everyone wants community. We all want to be part of a community, right? And it's way more fulfilling to be part of a community that you can actually hear, see, touch, feel, and be around people than it
Yes.
is to sit behind a screen and go back and forth with somebody's uncle over trans kids. Like that doesn't seem like fun to me. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't seem like fun to just sit online and just bicker back and forth with people you probably don't know that really don't give a shit about you. Whereas you can come here and everyone actually does care about you as a person.
yeah.
I think there's something magical about a good music performance and a show and feeling the sound waves hitting you and
Yeah.
closing your eyes and just enjoying that music. I went to see Megadeth a few months ago and I posted on my Facebook page a little clip and said, this is where my spiritual experiences happen, at concerts.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that statement. Same thing with me. I mean, I find myself holding back tears at concerts sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll be at a show, like we went and saw Korn recently, and I've loved Korn. I've seen Korn so many times, dozens of times. And they start playing some of that old shit, and I'm just like, it's just snapping me back to another time. And like I may have told this story before on the podcast, and if I did, I apologize,
Yeah.
but you're going to hear it again. 2015, Pearl Jam was one of my favorite bands from the time I was like 13 years old, and it's a band that has kind of I have grown with that band. Like Binaural was a shit album, and I'll stand by that. I don't like that album, but every other album they put out, there's value, and there's pieces or parts of those albums that were running parallel with my life. And there was this one song on No Code called "Off He Goes," and it's when my son was a little baby. The only way I could get him to calm down at night and fall asleep was I'd put him in the car seat, and I had a little pickup truck, so you had to put the car seat facing backwards, and I put that song on repeat, and I would put my finger, and he'd grab my little finger, and I'd drive around my neighborhood in circles listening to "Off He Goes" on repeat until he fell asleep, and that's what calmed him down. All right, so that was back in 2003 or 4. So fast forward to 2015, I finally get a chance to see Pearl Jam. It was at the big Coliseum here in Charlotte, and I had been injured. I was actually in a wheelchair. I got in a really bad car wreck, and I was in a wheelchair. So I had really good seats, and I had to give up my good seats to go sit up on the railing in the upper level. So that kind of sucked. But I've got a clear view of the stage. And I'm having a great time. All these Pearl Jam songs, loving it. And then just right in the middle of the set, out of nowhere, the first 2 notes to "Off He Goes" starts playing. And as soon as I hear those first 2 notes, my eyes start welling up. And and at the time, my wife and I, we'd been dating for a while. We weren't married yet. And I was not looking at her. I was fighting these fucking tears. I couldn't believe I was hearing this song. It's a B-side. It's a song that I might be the only person that cares about this song. But when I heard that song, I started crying like a bitch, man. And it just like a wave came over me. And it's like moments like that, that's how what you just said, that's how I find my spirituality. And it happens all the time, man. You'll go to a show and then you'll hear this song that just resonates or sinks in, and you want to cry because it's like, well, somebody else feels the same way I do.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm glad I'm not alone.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
last time. Go ahead.
Oh, I had that moment. What's the Soundgarden tribute?
Bad Motorfinger.
So when they played here,
Mm-hmm.
Black Hole Sun is one of my favorite songs, and I never got to see Soundgarden live. So when they played Black Hole Sun, it hit me that it's the first time I've ever heard it live, and I would never get to see Soundgarden perform it. So it was a tribute band, but at the same time, I stood right there at the corner of the stage, and I was like, oh my gosh. Even though it was still with a tribute. I'm kidding because I'm emotional anyway. So
Stop being a bitch.
shut up, Michael. God. But anyway, I had that same. I mean, that was like those early teen years, and that's what it reminded me of. And to hear it live, even though it wasn't, but it was still magical all on its own.
I think the last time I had that feeling that comes to mind, or the most powerful moment where I was like tearing up, was the last time I saw Alice Cooper, and he did 18. I'm like, this is like, man, I've watched this guy and listened to these songs for 40 years,
Yeah.
and he's 73 years old, and he's playing 18, and it's powerful music. I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know. It was magical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another one was I got to see The Cure one time. This is probably 10 years ago, and they played Pictures. What's fucked up is it was like the second song they played. You know what I'm saying? So like immediately, like they were like getting into your feelings.
Yeah.
Because that's a beautiful song. You know.
I woke up to 18 on my 18th birthday because my mom's a huge Alice Cooper fan. Yeah, that was that. Yeah.
Was she just standing over you with a boombox?
No, she put the record on
Oh, okay.
and turned it up through my dad's old ass speakers that he still has because they still work.
That was one of my favorite things to do when my kids were younger.
Yeah.
I used to love waking up on a Saturday morning and just blasting Hall & Oates as loud as I could.
I've walked in here and he's been blasting Hall & Oates. I always, when I come in and I know he's here, I listen for the music to see, all right, where's Michael's headspace today? And I always say, okay, that's the mood he's in. We'll roll with it.
Is it like that?
Yes,
I guess I do have a
Yeah.
presence. I don't know.
you do. I listen to what's playing to gauge what I'm going into. I'm like, oh.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, that's just proving like why this makes so much
It
sense.
does.
Why like that's why we belong here.
It does.
You know, music.
There's
it
music
moves
for every
us.
mood.
Yeah, there is. There
What-
is.
there-
What kind of mood do you want to put people in when you play on stage?
Mood? I just want them to enjoy an evening out, and yeah, you know, I was asked a question about what's most important to me with the band these days not long ago, and the first thing that come to mind it was friendship. I mean, sure, making art's important, making music is important. The friendship that I have with the group of guys I'm playing with now means more to me than anything. You know, we got no drama in the band, but and I like to see that crossing over to the audience, because a lot of times it's our friends out in the audience and new friends that we're about to make, and the sense of community that you mentioned earlier. Yeah, that's important.
And
What-
their music is fun too. So
Yeah.
and also you can shake your butt to Graveyard
Right.
Boulevard music too.
Yeah. We're not trying to change the world. We just
No.
we want to have a good evening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it
I was kind of stepped on what I was
Sorry.
going to. No, it's okay. It's a good thing because it's proven the point that I wanted to make. Like, I was going to ask, what can people expect to see? But really, what you can expect to see is having a good time. Like,
Yes.
you know, it's rock and roll that you can get up and
It's
shake
fun.
and dance to and
It's so
stuff
much
and have
fun.
fun with. You know, do a little bit of crowd there. I mean, I've seen you kind of engage with the
Mm-hmm.
crowd and stuff, and you know, now with this big of a library, how difficult is it to put together a set list for a 30-minute set? Like that has to be like a bugaboo, right?
Yeah, so that's a challenge. Okay, so Brian Bates, our bass player, has been in a band for a long time, so he knows a lot. But our drummer and our other guitarists have been in the band for 2 years. Justin Glenn.
Oh, so just don't teach them the stuff you don't want to play.
Well, whenever they came into the band, Brian and I said, "Well, listen to our library. What do you like?" And we figure,
That's
what they
fair.
like might be a good indication of what other people might like also. Justin was well aware of our library because he's been a fan of the band for a long time. So he had some songs already in mind. And then, so that's why we started. We let the new guys listen to them and tell us what they like. And then, so we got our first set going. And then we quickly just started writing new stuff because got to stay productive.
Yeah.
And so, a lot of the newer songs make their way into the set too.
Is there a song that like you have to play every night?
There is a few that consistently make the cut.
Name them so that people can go listen before they come to the show.
Okay, so we've been ending the show with Submission Accomplished because it's just a good punk song, and Submission Accomplished just sounds like a good ender anyway.
Yeah.
So that, listen to that one. That's one that I just don't get bored of playing or bored of listening to. Black Tomorrow is another one that's often in the set. Rock and Roll Creep Show. Those are some of the older ones that are always in there. Some of the newer ones that I see sticking around for a while, Better Than Yesterday, is a song we released maybe about 5 months ago, but it's a song that I don't have to be better than you. I just want to be better than yesterday. And it's a message I approve of, and it's a fun song to play.
Yeah.
It is a good message. I've kind of been adopting that philosophy here the last couple of months, given what we've been going through.
Yeah.
So there's some songs you can go listen to and prepare so you can sing along this Friday.
Yeah.
Is there a song that you have to play because it's popular but hate playing it? Like, do you have that yet?
Or
you
I don't
just
feel that
tired of it?
pressure. I don't feel that pressure.
Okay.
No, we just kind of do what we want. But there is a couple that we've, there's a couple that we've played a lot and
You just
probably
got tired of
won't
playing
come
it.
back into the lineup for a while.
All right. Well, my producer has informed me we've run a little long. So before we wrap up, do you want to share with the audience like any other things you want to promote, links or websites to go to? Maybe name off your business again, where in your location, and any other shows you want to promote.
Sure. Okay, so we have a brand new song that we just released. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube. We released a lyric video for it also. It's called Necrotic Secrets. So it's a bit of, it was co-written with Justin Glenn, our drummer. So it's the first song that he has co-written with me, which I'm proud of him for stepping up and doing that. And it's a sort of Doom inspired, but a lot of Dungeons and Dragons references in there because, we like that sort of thing. So Necrotic Secrets, look it up if you haven't seen that. That's our new song. Also, the website for the band is tied to my business, the Comic Monstore. So comicmonstore.com. If you go there, you'll find out information about the comic shop and Graveyard Boulevard. Merch page for the Graveyard Boulevard is there. Let's see. I'm going to plug Con Carolinas. That's a sci-fi fantasy convention I'm involved in. If you're in the Carolinas, check out Con Carolinas. It's coming up next June. I think that's it. Am I forgetting something?
Right on. And be here this Friday, November 1st, for the after Halloween party. Come in costume. Come have a good time. Get the tickets online early. Again, we got 5 bands. We got
Digital Dolls, Fury 58, Midnite Massacre, Body Bags, and Graveyard Boulevard.
Right on. It's going to be a good time. Come check it out. Ray, thank you so much for doing this, brother.
Thank
I love
you.
it.
Thank you for all you do.
Peace and love.